Beneath the desert heat and towering glass skylines, there's a level of wealth and power so immense it rarely makes headlines, yet its impact is felt across the globe. From Riyadh to Abu Dhabi, the lives of Gulf kings and leaders represent a staggering concentration of luxury, influence, and economic control. But what's really behind their trillion-dollar power? The oil empire that built a dynasty. Everything starts with energy. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain. These are countries that sit on some of the most valuable land in the world, not because of what's above it, but what's underneath. King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia sits atop the world's largest oil reserves. With an estimated personal net worth exceeding $20 billion, King Salman is more than a monarch, he's a global power player. Saudi Arabia produces 16 million barrels of oil per day and holds the world's largest known crude oil and natural gas reserves. That oil wealth isn't just stored in vaults. Through massive sovereign wealth funds and state-linked investment firms, Saudi money flows into real estate, tech, aviation, and even global sports. Under Vision 2030, King Salman launched one of the most ambitious economic transformation plans ever seen. The aim? Reduce Saudi Arabia's dependence on oil and pivot into tourism, logistics, entertainment, and smart cities like Neom. The rise of the trillion-dollar club. It's not just Saudi Arabia flexing financial power. The United Arab Emirates, especially Abu Dhabi, has long been home to Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the late ruler who commanded not only national policy but global capital flows. His personal wealth was estimated to surpass $18 billion, but the broader assets managed under his rule stretch into the hundreds of billions through institutions like Mubadala and ADIA, the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. Abu Dhabi's wealth isn't just sitting still. It's invested in some of the most valuable properties in London and Manhattan, high-tech ventures in Silicon Valley, and infrastructure projects across Africa and Asia. But the opulence doesn't stop there. Sheikh Khalifa's private palace in Abu Dhabi features exclusive beaches, private marinas, multiple pools, and sprawling botanical gardens, built not just for comfort, but as a statement of elite power. And here's a detail you won't find in just any article. Despite this overwhelming wealth, leaders like Sheikh Khalifa ensured the UAE remained investor-friendly, encouraging tech startups, welcoming foreign ownership zones, and shaping the Emirates into a hub of financial confidence. But what happened next would shift the landscape even more. Sovereign wealth funds and silent control. By 2024, Gulf sovereign wealth funds collectively managed $4.4 trillion in assets. But that's just the beginning. Forecasts show these funds could climb to $7.3 trillion by 2030, making them some of the most influential financial institutions on Earth. These funds don't just hold money, they move markets. According to Bloomberg, this surge has made the Gulf region a magnet for international bankers, consultants, and wealth managers. In fact, many top global advisors are now relocating to Dubai and Riyadh just to be close to the action. Some even end up working inside these sovereign funds, effectively turning local investment councils into global decision-making bodies. This wealth isn't limited to portfolios. It's reshaping city skylines, redirecting tech trends, and redefining luxury. And yet, the political strategy behind these investments remains highly calculated. Diversify wealth, increase global influence, and fortify long-term regional power. The kings who live beyond imagination. Some monarchs have taken their wealth and built reputations not just on power, but also legacy. Take Sultan Qaboos bin Saeed Al Saeed of Oman. Though his personal net worth estimated at $1.5 billion was modest compared to other Gulf rulers, his impact was immense. Until his passing in 2020, Sultan Qaboos maintained Oman's stability and poured his fortune into developing infrastructure, education, and public welfare. Meanwhile, King Mohammed VI of Morocco, with a fortune estimated at $5 billion, has taken a business-forward approach. Through investments in real estate, banking, and mining, he's helped modernize Morocco and shift its economy towards sustainability. His control over SNI makes him a king, a tycoon, and a policymaker, all in one. His palaces in Rabat and Marrakesh are grand symbols of that wealth, yet his focus has remained on national development. Across the Gulf, King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of Bahrain, leads a country that's become a regional finance center. His wealth, around $2.5 billion, is reflected in a lifestyle filled with private yachts, luxury residences, and expansive international holdings. The hidden divide in the Arab world. Beyond the Gulf palaces and booming stock exchanges lies another side of the Arab League, a deep economic divide. While countries like Qatar boast a GDP per capita of $71,653 in nominal terms and a stunning $121,605 in PPP, others like Yemen face a drastically different reality. Yemen's GDP per capita sits at only $417. The Arab League collectively has a nominal GDP of $3.546 trillion and a GDP based on PPP of $9.423 trillion. The largest contributors are Saudi Arabia with $1.084 trillion, the UAE with $549 billion, and Egypt with $347 billion in nominal terms. However, when adjusted for purchasing power, Egypt actually leads with $2.372 trillion, followed by Saudi Arabia at $2.23 trillion and the UAE at $905 billion. But there's more. Intra-Gulf trade is valued at $107 billion, and initiatives like the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, founded in 1997, have removed tariffs on 65% of trade across the Arab world. And yet, financial inequality within the League remains staggering. While Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia enjoys global influence, nations like Comoros, with a GDP of just $2 billion, barely register on the financial radar. This wealth gap isn't just a statistic, it's a defining tension in the region. So what's really behind the lavish lifestyles and seemingly limitless wealth of Gulf leaders? It's not just oil, it's a strategic investment, political calculation, global financial expansion, and decades of turning resource wealth into sustained, diversified economic power. Would you thrive in a world where your fortune could shift markets? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more exciting insights from Lux and beyond.